Hey there, fellow listeners. Welcome back to Red Hunt, where I, Red, delve into the intriguing and heart-wrenching stories from the depths of Reddit relationships. So grab your popcorn, sit back, and immerse yourself in the roller coaster of emotions, because we're about to embark on another captivating journey together. I caught my fiancé cheating on me. We have 2 young kids. The holidays were great, at least for me. We had a good start to 2024. I went out with friends after a hockey tournament first weekend of January 6th, and she went out last Friday, January 12th with colleagues, who she is starting to see as friends. She came home on Saturday early morning, and it started off to be a good weekend with us and the kids, 2 and 5. I work mostly nights to accommodate childcare for the youngest and to take my oldest to school. Once she is home, I go to work on my scheduled days. I do a lot around the house for her and the kids. The oldest I have raised since he's 17 months. She has sole custody of him, and the other is biologically mine. Monday night my life changed for the worst, so it seems. She had some sort of a snap and said she wasn't feeling happy anymore and needed time to figure out herself. Looking into a therapist and figuring out her thoughts. I was ready to give her the time and space she needed. Reached out to couples therapy as it was something she brought up during a more calm chat Monday night. Tuesday, she started new anxiety and depression medication, stating she has been having anxiety attacks at work thinking about our relationship and how she feels while at work. This is all related to me. Once I asked her why she had left her engagement ring, she never took it off when she went to work. We have another conversation that night after how she feels and what the next steps are. At least I tried. It was like talking to a wall. We weren't getting anywhere. We have had communication problems in the past. Nothing ever this bad that warrants what is to come. We always seem to work through it and love again. Wednesday, she leaves the ring again. She states that wearing it is added pressure for her as she does not know what she wants. She does not want to wear it until she's figured herself out. We have another conversation that night. Seemed to go a little better, but again she wasn't invested in the conversation. These are the conversations she's always wanted with me, opening up and addressing my feelings, yet it didn't seem like she was invested. Thursday rolls around and again, her ring is left at home. We don't talk for much of the day, however I still have hope we can get through this. I've reached out to a couple therapists, looked at the benefits coverage. I am ready when she is to take this serious and break through this slump. That night she doesn't give me much. She goes to bed early, shortly after the kids. Friday morning I don't hear from her in the morning yet again, and her ring is back in the original box. I don't know what to think. I start off my morning with getting the kids ready, like any other morning. Once my oldest is at school, I come and open my computer to search the web and look deeply into if what is going on is normal. Suddenly I see her messages come up one by one on my computer. She has been, heavily, sexting a coworker who I've questioned just recently. I've been cheated on in the past and have a hard time trusting, which I trusted her to this point. These texts were nothing like I've read before. I could not imagine this was her texting these things while I'm at home with the kids, and she was going through this hard time finding herself. I went deeper into reading every message. She said nothing they have been doing will affect her life more than it is affected now. Turns out she had been performing sexual acts on him during lunch break, going out for lunch together, and Thursday they finally had sex. Now they are scheduling a night out for next weekend when I'm off and will be home with the kids. My stomach was aching and I didn't know what to think. He is younger than her, does not look like a guy ready to care for her, as well as 2 children under the age of 6 with 2 different dads. I'm not sure what led her to this. When I approached the situation, she said he expressed his feelings for her at lunch, and things escalated from there. When I tried to talk about it further, she had a hard time admitting what she'd done and still has yet to apologize. She is saying this isn't the problem and it is the next steps with the kids while she deals with what she is going through, as well as we need to talk more about it. Even though I have been trying my best the past 3 days, she is claiming she did not think this through and went to bed early while I was at work, still trying to talk about everything. I've asked if she is ready to break this thing off with the guy, and she hasn't answered that. She wants to keep living together, sharing the same bedroom. I just don't think I can get over this. We had everything we ever wanted, and we're set to get married in 8 months. Everything in me says to try and make it work with counseling, my closest friends, and parents tell me to leave her and split assets and figure out custody. I can't imagine anything less than full-time and raising these kids like I have been. Am I crazy to think I can somehow make this work while she still works with the guy? Financially I have a place to go, she does not. She stated before I claimed she was cheating that she didn't see anything serious with this guy, nor is he ready to deal with kids. She says we will talk about it today when I am home. I am torn what is best for me and the kids. I couldn't imagine being away from them. Has anyone dealt with a similar situation? Am I crazy to stay for the kids and try to make her desire me again when she said she doesn't feel that passion with me? Clearly, she did for this guy. How could I trust her with going out again when I'm not there, or going to work in the same building as this guy? Does this type of thing ever work out? She always told me she would leave before she cheated, and I crazy thinking she wouldn't. But it happened. She is the love of my life. I am so torn and heartbroken. She is trying to spin it on me as I pushed her to feel this way. I never thought she would end up cheating on me, reaching out for some sort of advice. Damn, that's a tough situation. It really sucks that she cheated on you after everything you've been through. It's understandable that you're torn about what to do, especially since you have kids. I think it's important to prioritize your own happiness and well-being, but also consider what's best for the kids in the long run. Maybe some couples therapy could help, but it's ultimately up to you to decide if you can trust her again. Good luck, man. Am I the antagonist for making my husband not let my stepkid invite a friend on a trip? My spouse and I have planned a trip to an indoor water park resort for a few days. Our children involved are my biological child, Avery, 14, his biological child, Robin, 9, and our child together, Alex, 2, Scotty. Due to the ongoing pandemic, this will be our first opportunity to do something like this with the kids in a while. Avery expressed interest in inviting a friend to join us for the weekend. I personally do not support this idea, and I shared my concerns with my spouse. Whenever Avery does invite a friend over, they both isolate themselves in the bedroom, playing games and chatting, and they refuse to interact or eat with the rest of us. Apart from the noise they make, it feels as if they are not even present. On weekends like this, Avery barely speaks 10 words to us. With that in mind, I expressed my worries to my spouse about the possibility of Avery bringing a friend on the trip. I am concerned that Avery will spend all their time with the friend and not with us. Since this is our first time away since the pandemic, I really want it to be a family bonding experience. However, my spouse assured me that they would establish some rules. According to my spouse, Avery and their friend will have some time during the day to do their own thing, but the majority of the time will be spent together as a family. Even though this is not the case at home, my spouse believes it can work during the trip, so I agreed to give it a try. During a joint conversation with Avery, my spouse called them to explain the rules and expectations. Avery agreed without any issues but mentioned that the original friend they invited couldn't join us. They then invited a new friend, Jade, whom they recently made. This change of plans did not bother me much, as it is not uncommon. I asked Avery for Jade's full name and their parents' phone number. Avery casually brushed off the request, claiming that Jade's parents have no problems with them joining us and that they do not even have their phone number. Avery insisted that everything is fine. At that point, my spouse intervened and asked Avery to contact Jade, obtain their parents' contact details, and share them with us by the end of the day. Considering we have never met Jade or their parents, I had reservations about bringing a child we are unfamiliar with on a trip. I expressed my concerns to my spouse. However, despite waiting until 11 p.m., Avery only texted their dad to inform him that they did not obtain Jade's parents' phone number. Nevertheless, Avery claimed it was still fine because Jade's parents gave their permission for Jade to join us. I reiterated to my spouse that I disagree with taking another child several hours away without at least speaking to the parents and ensuring they are aware of our location and have a direct means of contacting us. My spouse agreed and conveyed this to Avery. Since Avery did not provide a way to contact Jade's parents, we decided that Avery could no longer bring a friend on the trip. Avery became upset and blamed me for ruining their weekend, claiming it will be the worst one ever. Despite sympathizing with Avery, my spouse ultimately agreed with my stance. I, on the other hand, feel regretful about the entire situation. Am I the antagonist here? You and your husband made a reasonable request to meet Jade's parents and have a way to contact them since you would be taking their child on a trip. It's important to prioritize the safety and well-being of everyone involved. Avery should have been more responsible and provided the necessary information. I'm facing divorce with my wife of 2 years because I pointed out it's not biologically possible our newborn is ours. I, 27-year-old male, and my wife, 31-year-old female, just had our son a few days ago. We've been living in different countries for about a year due to work, maintaining a long-distance relationship. Initially, when we started the long-distance arrangement, our relationship became strained and we separated for a few weeks with no contact. It was actually me who ended things. After a few weeks passed, I began to feel regret and reached out to her, expressing my desire to patch things up and save our marriage. It took some convincing, but since we already had a pre-booked holiday in Spain, we decided to go together. We had a great time, reminiscent of the early days of our relationship, although our physical intimacy wasn't as strong as before. After the vacation, we returned to our respective countries. I continued trying to convince her to work on our relationship, but she had transformed from the pleasant woman I knew during the holiday into an angry person, hurt by my previous actions. In a fit of rage during a video call, she told me that it was no longer possible to fix things because she had already been with someone else. This devastated me and I hung up, not speaking with her for nearly a month. After a month had passed, my emotions compelled me to send her an email outlining all of my feelings and the importance of our relationship to me. She responded, saying that we needed to talk, so we had a call. During this conversation, she revealed that she was pregnant and claimed it was a result of our holiday together. I questioned the paternity, and she confessed that she had lied about being with someone else because she wanted to hurt me. She left the decision about whether or not I wanted to be there for my child and work on our relationship up to me. Despite the potential cheating, I expressed my desire to be a part of my child's life, as long as the child is mine. The first ultrasound indicated that the gestation period was 1 day before her flight to Spain and 4 days before we had sex, which initially worried me but did not serve as a red flag at the time. Over the next few months, our relationship improved, and we managed to reconcile. I visited her for a few weeks for the gender reveal, and we made plans for me to take 2 months off for the birth. As the delivery date approached, I flew over to be with her. Everything seemed fine, and we enjoyed Christmas and New Year's together, cherishing the final stages of her pregnancy. I tried my best to support her. After the birth, when the hospital released us and we needed copies of the documents they provided, I noticed something unsettling. Our son's blood type was AB, whereas both my wife and I have blood type AA as indicated on our ID cards. Unless it is a medical error or an extremely rare case of chimerism, it seems biologically impossible. I kept this information to myself for a few days, but my wife noticed my changed mood. Eventually, I could no longer brush off her concerns and tried to explain my discovery regarding the blood type discrepancy. I did not directly accuse her of cheating or suggest that our son wasn't mine. In response, she exploded in anger, kicking me out of our home in a foreign country at midnight. She declared that she never wanted me near her baby, forbidding me from contacting her or her family again. We haven't registered the birth yet, and I am not listed on the birth certificate. However, before she kicked me out, I discreetly collected samples for a paternity test, which I just recently submitted. I am unsure if I gathered enough material for an accurate test. I will receive the results in 10 days. I am utterly devastated. Was I wrong to doubt the paternity of my son and seek clarification? It's understandable that you had doubts about the biological fatherhood given the blood type discrepancy, but it's important to approach the situation with sensitivity. Hopefully, the paternity test will provide you with the answers you need and help you make an informed decision about the future of your relationship. Hang in there, and I hope everything works out for the best. How to cope with rich guy hitting on my girlfriend. I've been feeling insecure lately because a guy is trying to hit on my girlfriend, and it's been frustrating. My girlfriend works as a PR in a high-end club in Vietnam. Her job is to serve and entertain VIP guests through small talks and serving drinks. But her role is strictly non-sexual. We've been in a serious relationship for the past 2 years, and she is a very honest and down-to-earth girl whom I love dearly. We've even discussed marriage recently, and I plan to marry her next year. Due to the nature of her job, she often receives tips and occasional gifts from customers, mostly guys who hope to impress her. This has never been a problem for me because I trust her completely. Most of the club's customers are local Vietnamese, but recently, a rich guy from Dubai, who is reportedly a doctor, has been persistently pursuing her. He gives her generous tips and expensive luxury gifts, and he doesn't seem to stop. Since he is a VIP customer who spends thousands of dollars every day, my girlfriend has to treat him respectfully and not upset him, or else she risks getting fired. The gifts he gives her are extravagant, far beyond what I can afford with my modest monthly salary of $1,000 USD. This situation has been making me insecure. I tried discussing it with my girlfriend, but she is just as unsure about what to do because she wants to keep her job. I don't want her to quit either because we have bills to pay, and it would financially burden me if she left. We are both saving money for our future marriage and a house. Moreover, I feel that she is happy receiving those gifts, which adds to my insecurity. Last night, the guy gave her a makeup set from Bobbi Brown worth $3,000 USD, and seeing the joy on her face broke my heart, knowing that I can't afford such things for her. But she became sad when she saw that I wasn't as happy, which made me even sadder. I don't know how to handle this insecurity. I can't force her to leave her job, and I know as long as she continues working at the club, there may be other guys like this in the future. I love and trust her, and I don't want to be a jealous boyfriend. However, this rich guy from Dubai is making me extremely insecure with his treatment of my girlfriend. I don't know how to confront or deal with these feelings. My girlfriend tries to reassure me, but I still feel uncertain. I don't want to stress her out too much since I don't want her to start hiding things from me to avoid upsetting me. Has anyone else experienced a similar situation? How did you handle it? Hey man, I can totally understand why you'd be feeling insecure about the situation with this guy hitting on your girlfriend. It's natural for those feelings to come up, especially when he's showering her with expensive gifts that you can't afford. It's great that you trust her, but it's still tough to see her enjoying those gifts. Maybe you could have an open and honest conversation with her about your insecurities and see if there's a compromise that works for both of you. Get rid of my cat. Okay, I'll get rid of your dogs. I, 22-year-old female, have a difficult relationship with my father, 60-year-old male, to say the least. I have tried to have a good, loving relationship with him my entire life, but he isn't the nicest person half the time. He can't hold a job or get along with someone for more than a month before blowing up over something. He yelled a lot at me growing up and practically searched for things to be mad about constantly. His fits have become less frequent, but no less frustrating. Anyway, since I've moved out 5 years ago, he's gotten 2 new dogs. Our previous ones passed of old age or were puppies that were rehomed. We used to keep a lot of dogs and cats growing up and occasionally some wild animals that were injured until they were nursed back to health. My dad got very attached to a squirrel we had in my middle school years named Junior. One day I came home, and Dad said when he let Junior outside to play, he came back in to do something. And when he went to call him in, yes, the squirrel responded, "Yes, I know this is weird." He found the squirrel in a less than desirable state with my cat Polly. He said that since Polly got rid of Junior, he got rid of Polly. He didn't rehome her. It was traumatizing, honestly. I came home last week to see my mom, but I decided to visit my dad since he was only 5 minutes down the road. I got there, spent about 15 minutes with him, and then he blew me off to go get some marijuana from his dealer, still illegal in my state. Before he left, he showed me a cute ornament he bought for his Christmas tree of a squirrel in honor of Junior because he saw it in one of the feed stores in town. I asked where the ornament for Polly was and he said that cat was garbage for what he did to Junior. A couple of days ago I visited again and he ditched me again. While he was gone, the landline rang. It was the dog catcher from the local pound. She said she picked up my father's 2 dogs for the 3rd time this month. Not surprising, he doesn't leash them and has them live outside half the time. I decided to leave, go to the pound, fill out info, and pay a small fee to owner surrender the dogs. They were taken to a no-kill shelter one town over the next day to find their next forever home that will actually feed and house them properly, and pay to give them updated shots and stuff, which my dad also doesn't do. My father found out what I'd done when he went to the pound and has been spamming my phone to the point I had to block him. He's also posting about what an awful child I am on his Facebook page, and some of my relatives have reached out asking if I actually turned his dogs over. Many of them agree with me, but a couple think I took things too far. I don't feel bad anymore, and I don't care what my relatives think. I finally decided after so many years and so many bad experiences to just go no contact, NC, with my father. But finally getting one over on him and making sure his latest pets have been moved into actual caring homes was definitely icing on the cake. He doesn't deserve to have pets or kids or really anything that has to rely on him for basic necessities. Screw him. Wow, your dad sounds like a real piece of work. It's completely understandable that you've had enough and want to cut contact with him. Turning his dogs over to a no-kill shelter was probably the best thing you could do for them. Don't let anyone make you feel guilty for standing up to him. You did the right thing. I can't sell food? Fine, I'll sell the plates then. I came across this subreddit and decided to share a story of petty revenge from my youth. When I was 14 years old, I had a rebellious streak and didn't always follow ridiculous rules imposed on me. I would exploit any tiny loophole to my advantage. Here's the scenario. I was in middle school and Easter was approaching, so each class was setting up a kiosk for a bazaar. We were allowed to sell anything legal, such as crafts, pastries, and art, to raise funds for a class trip. Since I enjoyed cooking and making desserts, I offered to make crepes for our kiosk. I woke up early every morning to ensure the crepes were freshly made. I took precautions by wearing gloves and a hairnet, and sanitizing everything to ensure safety. My classmates also contributed, bringing bananas and honey to enhance our offerings. We quickly set up and started making good money. During lunch breaks, we had a long line of kids waiting to buy our crepes. However, this meant that the other kiosks weren't getting as much business. Fortunately, we had a friendly relationship with the other kids, and they didn't mind. Except for one kiosk, which attracted more customers by giving away homemade cookies with each purchase. After a few days, the girls from the cookie kiosk approached us, accompanied by the headmaster. He informed us that we couldn't sell food anymore because it was unfair to the other kiosks. I pointed out that the girls were also giving out cookies, to which he responded, "You can give out whatever you want for free, including food, but you can't sell it. It's unfair competition." If he had shut us down due to health concerns, we would have understood and complied immediately. However, the fact that he claimed our successful business idea was unfair didn't sit well with me. Everyone else was allowed to do what we were doing. His words kept nagging at me. Can you guess what happened next? We were serving our crepes on plain white paper plates. So, I purchased a food-safe marker, flipped some plates over, and started doodling on them. Other classmates with artistic talent joined in, drawing cartoon and anime characters. We hung up the decorated plates around our kiosk and changed our sign to say, "Cartoon Character Art." 2. Currency sign. Each a free crepe of your choice with every purchase. And just like that, we were back in business. Sure enough, the girls from the cookie kiosk showed up at our kiosk the next day, accompanied by the headmaster. "I thought I made myself clear," he said. "You did, sir," I replied, pointing at the sign. After a moment of silence, he facepalmed, sighed, and said he didn't get paid enough for this. Finally, he relented, and I offered him a free crepe as a gesture of goodwill. He jokingly suggested I become a lawyer. Wow, that's some quick thinking. I love how you found a clever loophole to keep selling your crepes. The headmaster must have been so annoyed but had to admire your determination. Who knows, maybe you'll end up becoming a lawyer one day just like he suggested. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.